Hi.
There you go. Hey, what's going on, Rebecca?
Hey, how you been?
Doing all right, doing all right.
That's good. That's good.
How about yourself?
I've been doing good.
What's that? That says half the battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
How's the school year so far?
It's going pretty well. Like I say, you know how it is when everything gets starting to fall. It's just, hey, everything's all over every place. So trying to get to that settled down period, but yeah, going well.
That's good. You actually started your production company with your brother.
Yeah, we started that. It's funny. That's how we were producing. Well, I was producing when I was still in the military. So when I was in the Marine Corps, we would, ironically, when we get downtime and stuff like that, we were, always experimenting with production and recording, which people wouldn't think. But the military, when you're not out deployed and doing training missions and things like that, it actually works like a 9 to 5. So we actually, report to a job station, during the day, and then you're off. Yeah. So that's a little hidden thing about the military is, yeah, it works like a 9 to 5 when you're not all over the place.
You were a Marine.
Yes. Never a dull moment. It's kind of the
I can
yeah.
imagine as a Marine.
Never a dull moment, but cool. I still keep in touch with a lot of devil dogs, and that's what we call ourselves. So I still keep in touch with a lot of my buddies and stuff. So it's yeah, you establish some lifelong relationships with folks you'd have never thought that you would come in contact or be friends with from about every walk of life.
Did you grow up with music?
I did in a sense of there's a lot of musicians in my family in terms of like a lot of talent, but one of my cousins I came up playing with, he was actually we worked with Coolio together, so he managed Coolio. One of my older brothers, they worked together along with him for a while. I got into it by default. I was always breaking and building stuff as a kid, like recorders and audio stuff and just breaking stuff. I got to a big chunk of college writing poetry, which is like I used to win a lot of grants doing spoken word slam jams, and it paid for a good chunk of college.
What was it like to work with Coolio?
Coolio was interesting. I mean, basically like family. He used to, when he would come from tours and visit my hometown of Champaign, Illinois, my grandmother would cook for him. So he always made her fry fish for him whenever he was in town. First night I met him, he just told me go grab some chicken. They had some food, grab some chicken and grab the PlayStation controller because he was playing my cousins and they needed a fourth player. And it was like, go grab some chicken and then come in here and team up with me so we can run a house on your cousins. An NBA Live. So it's like, all right. Cool.
You have so many stories, including working with Prince.
Yeah. Prince is a story within stories, within stories, within stories. Yeah.
I remember you telling me this story when I was your student. I remember you telling me that he seemed like he just kind of appeared out of nowhere when you made a mistake.
Yeah, he had a knack of you just never know where he was at. Of course, Paisley Park is his house, so he knows every nook and cranny and everything, and you just never knew when he'd pop up. So you can get through recording him and you don't see him. He'll just be gone. And then you pop up, you're sitting there mixing the song and working, and then you turn behind you and you look, and he's just standing right behind you with a cup of coffee, and it's like, hey, play it again. And you're just like, first of all, where'd you come from? Like, dude, you just, out of nowhere. But yeah, it was his house, his rules. So maybe we were just entertainment, at some point of like, hey, I got guests. So, but super cool.
Was there like a particular recording session that stands out to you?
Yes, we were working on a song called Another Love, which was on, I believe one of his albums called Hit and Run, which at that time he had an all-girl group called Third Eye Girl. that he put together, which was just like almost like freeform rock. I remember when he was working on it, it was a cover song, but that was the day that he actually decided to start playing with it. And I was just kind of sitting around while he was on the guitar, just working through it. And finally, I kind of broke my bearing and I just started walking around him because I was setting up gear. And I just looked at him like, just gave him this nod like, man, that's dope. And I didn't think he paid attention to it. I was like, just doing like, man, that's the one.
Yeah.
Didn't think nothing of it. And then a few minutes later, he went and called, I believe her name was Donna, was the guitarist. He calls her over and just starts to show her the riffs to it of how to play it. And I'm like, man, what's going on here? He's playing it, showing her some stuff. Then he calls Hannah, the drummer, over. And before I know it, he's rehearsing both the musicians on the song. And I said, I know he's not about to play this. And I was just being funny. And next thing he turns to me and he's like, okay, are we ready to record? And I'm like, oh, I guess that's my cue to go hurry up and get everything running. And that was the first time I got to produce him because he came back after the fact and I'm thinking like we're just done with it. And then he just started asking my opinion. Like, what do you think? What should I do here? And I'm like,
Oh my God.
in my head, I'm like, I'm producing you now. So I'm like, I'm producing Prince. I'm like, okay.
That's wild.
Yeah, so he's just asking questions. And I'm like, well, the ending could have went like this. I think it should have. And then he just like, you mean like this, like this? And I'm like, no, like da-da, bop, bop, bop.
Yeah.
He's like, you mean bop, 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 bop. I'm like, no, man. So my sister's just like, is Derek arguing with Prince? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm arguing with him because I wanted to be right. And then he just stops. And he's just like, okay, we'll cut it again. Should we cut it again? I said, yeah. He said, okay, we'll do it. And he just walked out and they just went and did another take.
That's an amazing story. You were actually nominated for a Grammy twice.
Twice. Yeah, I was a part of 2 Grammy-nominated projects, and it was, yes, 2 with the artist named Curtis Stewart. He's now a 6-time Grammy-nominated artist. Yeah, he's doing a few things right out there. A few things.
I would think,
We met at the Grammys. I met Curtis's manager and musician friend at the Grammys. We're both just out there waiting on an Uber. And I just like, you know what? I'll just strike up a conversation. This was his friend Lewis. And we just got to talking. And he's like, yeah, I studied out. I'm out in New York playing bass and traveling, and I got a record label. Long story short, they sent me the album. I did the mastering for it for about a good chunk of that album. Social media, I remember Curtis posting he was nominated for a Grammy, and I'm like, oh, great. And then I look at the album, and I'm like, wait a minute. Howard, that's the one. Wait a minute. Huh? So I called Lewis. I remember getting on inboxing Lewis, and I'm like, hey, I saw a message from Curtis, man. And I said, are we nominated? And he just sends back a thumbs up. He said, yeah.
What's the thumbs up? So casual.
He just sends a casual. I'm like, so we're like nominated. Like, this is a nomination. I had to just kind of keep asking. He's like, yeah, dude, you're Grammy nominated. You're a big part of that project. You're over 70% of that album is your mastering and work. And I'm like, oh, I'm nominated for a Grammy. We're nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
Like, oh. Cool.
Oh my God.
And then 2 years later, another call. Curtis asked me to work on another album. Second nomination. I'm like, all right, I like this.
Wow.
And next thing, I was on my way to Vegas to the Grammys. It was, yeah. A few months later, you're on the plane to the Grammys, and you're sitting there looking at your album being displayed and nominated, and it was just like, dope.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
Yeah. So cool experience. Pretty cool experience.
Yeah, because I think that really goes to show that you working excellence, because you really just thought it was another gig. It's
Yeah. You know,
just another gig for you. It's another
it's
gig.
it's another gig, and when I say that, it's never to discredit any work that I'm working with an artist. I always put my thing on it, as I say it. But most musicians, entrepreneurs are just kind of wired that way. We're just so focused on making it sound good
Mm-hmm.
that we're just off to other things. You know,
Right.
we put our all into what we're doing, and then we're just kind of rolling to the next thing, and just
Mm-hmm.
we just roll with it. So yeah, and then when you get those calls and like, hey, this one's you're nominated again, and it's like, okay, man, this is cool to be recognized on that level, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think much of it until you think of all your other favorite artists and people that have been in the same, you know, boat, and
Mm-hmm.
then it kind of hits you like, this is awesome.
What is the biggest risk you've taken on a creative project?
Biggest risk I've taken on a creative project was my first solo project, which included features, but stepping out of the backdrop from always, you know, producing and writing for other artists and recording, and then stepping out to do a solo project where I was doing the majority of the vocals, where I was doing things where you're most in your comfort zone of just producing for everybody. And then I decided, you know, I've been doing this for everybody for so long, and I just got all this stuff just in here. I
Right.
need I need to I need to do my thing for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a risk because you never know if people are going to stop, if they're going to remember you too much from being the artist. They may never hire you because they just think you are totally independent.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can be inspired and say, you know, hey, I like that sound. Who is that? I want that.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up happening. So the risk paid off.
Mm-hmm.
More people were asking me to like, hey, I want that type of sound.
Mm-hmm.
I love what you did on this song. You know, who's the guitar player? Who's the vocalist? Who's the bassist? Who's the drummer? And I'm sitting there like, me, but me. It's like, but I'll pretend there's 10 other people. But I'm like, yeah, this is all me, because it's cheaper that way. It's like, yeah, I got to pay 10 people. I'll play all the instruments and
Yeah. I mean, naturally. I mean, when you're multi-talented, you can do that.
yeah, save a few bucks. That's the fun part about it. But when people don't like something, yeah, you're the one taking the blame too. Like, I couldn't stand that bass part. It's like, damn. I'm like, yeah, we need to let him go. We're going to let him go off the next project. But yeah, it's always cool.
You've released actually two other albums this year as well.
Yes, I did. One was Everything But Nothing, and then the follow up to that was Concrete Elephants.
How do you think they reflect how you've evolved artistically?
That was, I think I started tapping more into my musicianship on these projects. I was just kind of like a positive creative rage, as I called it, where I was taking bits and pieces of ideas from over the years that were just kind of pent up, forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? I do so much for everybody else's stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm pretty dope myself. I think I'm pretty dope myself. Hold on. You know, so I would start digging back and then put and piece it all together. And then it was just almost like a binge where I just kind of went in and put the stuff together as fast as I could without jeopardizing creativity or quality. But sometimes it's just like, you ever hear like if a basketball player's in the zone,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just going and you're not even thinking, and then the songs are just happening.
Mm-hmm.
The arrangements are just happening.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened with these two projects.
Thank you for your, insight. There's so much, my audience can learn from you.
Very welcome.
And it's been so good talking to you.
Same record, always. So yeah, feel free to reach out, and do your thing. Keep pushing, keep rocking.
I appreciate it. You do the same.
All right now. I catch up with you, Becca.
Catch up.
All right now.
Bye.